Despite a delayed launch, the Captaincy update for Sea of Thieves is here at last. Today we're going to be taking a quick look into some of the new features added, as well as some of the balancing changes that have been made. Since the ship customization changes have been widely covered already, I'll start with the changes made to PvP. Many of these changes are intended to make things easier for solo sloops, and a lesser extent duo sloops as well. Firstly, knockbacks from cannonballs has been reduced for players on smaller ships by a significant margin. In essence, this means that solo players are much less likely to be knocked off the ship mid-combat. Secondly, the way that chain shot works in the game has been altered slightly to favor sloops. Traditionally, a direct hit to the mast with a chain shot will put 3 holes in it, causing it to fall immediately. In theory, you could do the same with 3 cannonballs, but it would be far more difficult. With the update, chain shot only does 2 hits of damage against a mast, so if it's fully repaired, it won't be going down after getting hit with 1 chain shot. Keep in mind that this only applies to sloops, not to larger vessels. From first impressions, I think that both of these are excellent changes that serve to make things just a bit easier for smaller crews. However, I am not fond of some of the other changes that they've made, which mainly affect the way that combat works after boarding. Firstly, the respawn time for solo sloop players has been reduced to 10 seconds compared to the 15 seconds for everyone else. Secondly, there are more respawn points on each ship, making spawn camping somewhat more difficult. In addition, it's now impossible to revive a teammate who dies on an enemy ship. Before I go in depth with the issues here, I have to say that I understand why Rare implemented these changes. Being spawn camped, especially as a new player, is not an enjoyable experience. It's something that I've been on the receiving end of many times, and I understand the desire to protect other new players from it. However, I'm still not entirely sold on these changes. Ever since the storage crate mechanics were updated to allow the rapid emptying of barrels, siphoning resources has been an essential PvP strategy, especially during long fights. It remains one of the only effective ways to level the playing field if your enemy has significantly more resources than you do. By changing the revive mechanics, Rare is making the strategy significantly less viable. Now don't get me wrong, I appreciate the new respawn points on each ship, though I wish that Rare hadn't changed the respawn times in the way they did. Personally, I think respawn times should be determined by the ship size, with sloop crews taking 15 seconds as they do now, and galleons taking 20 or even 25 seconds. There's not much of point in complaining any further, though. I don't think Rare is going to care about the opinion of a YouTube channel with only 8 subscribers, even if that channel is backed by an evil therapy company that owns the world. So then, on to the rest of the update. As you already know, the main course of Season 7 is the Captaincy update. You now have the ability to buy custom vessels and outfit them with all manner of cosmetic items and decorations. Many of these require alignment, essentially reputation, falling into one of 5 different categories. This progress is kept in the Captain's Log, a book which tracks the lifetime stats of your ship. Alongside these customization options are new Captain's Voyages, specialized quests that come in specific factions and lengths. Based on the testing from our sapient AI pirates so far, these are often similar, if not exactly the same, as conventional voyages in terms of structure. The outposts have received some extra attention as well. The Sovereigns are another new addition to the game. They are a new faction, if you can call them that, who will buy the loot of any of the 4 main factions in the game. In essence, they exist purely as a quick sell point at each outpost. While highly convenient for newer players or Athena mains, this seems slightly unbalanced in my view. I think Rare should have done one of 2 things with this feature to balance it slightly. Either you shouldn't be able to get an emissary bonus while selling to the Sovereigns, or else they should take a 20% or so cut from anything you sell through them. If there is a new option for selling that is significantly faster and easier than all other methods, I think it should come at a cost of gold per item somehow. Another major feature that needs balancing is the supply packs that you can now buy from shipwrights. These are essentially what you'd expect, various supply drops deposited directly into your ship's barrels. You can buy these to get cannonballs, woods, throwables, meat, and bait. So far, so good. However, you can also buy one for fruit, and I think you can see the problem here. Pineapples have historically been a rare item in Sea of Thieves, each capable of healing you fully twice. As it is now, this just isn't balanced. Being able to buy 8 full heals right off the bat just doesn't seem reasonable. It's an easy fix though. I would say just reduce the number of pineapples to 2, or even 1 and just throw in some extra mangoes. Season 7 also has the traditional distinction levels, going from 1 to 100. It comes along with several new cosmetic options for both pirates and ships, something which is always appreciated. And that's pretty much all. I was going to do a much more in-depth look at the new Captain's Voyages, but it turns out the servers had an entirely different plan. And on that terrible disappointment, that's all I've got.